Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome back to my channel. We started factorization in the afternoon, and because of technical issues we had to go off. So this is just the continuation of that afternoon's class. I hope you can all hear me. My phone is brand new, so whatever comments you give, I'll be able to see it, and then I'll try as much as possible to juggle between replying the comments and then teaching at the same time. But without wasting time, we were on example 3, and I gave a reason why example 3 was not interesting enough that it would be part of an exam. Okay, so I'm going to go to a new screen now, and then on that new screen I'm going to start the whole process of factorization again, especially for those who were not available in the afternoon. Okay, so just stay tuned, pay attention, make sure you have your notebooks and everything. But if you have an issue, just send me a comment, and then make sure you subscribe, because anytime I can go live at any time. Once I have data or bundle, I can go live at any time. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so that anytime I go live, you get a notification. Make sure when you subscribe, there's a bell by the subscription bar. You click on that bell so that anytime I post a video, anytime I post a comment, you have all those notifications. It's really, really important that you subscribe, because it's not every day that I'm going to be posting the links into your class page on Telegram or WhatsApp. Okay, there will be a time that I'll have to stop that. So make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. The subscription button is just below the video you're watching, so just click on it, and then we can start. As of now, we are just 9 out of 100 students, so I'll not waste time because we are all using data. My data might finish anytime soon, just like what happened in the afternoon. So let's just spring into action. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up by liking. Okay, so today we want to look at factorization. That's basically the continuation of what we're doing in the afternoon. Okay, so factorization, I explained in the afternoon that if I have example 1 and I have 4a minus 20, okay, we are saying that I should factor out. What it means is that I'm just supposed to take the common factors out. Okay, so the common factors can be variables, a, x, b, etc. Okay, or coefficients, so they can be numbers 1, 2, 100, okay, 5, etc. Okay, now, so when we look at this closely, you realize that we only have one variable. We have one variable, which is just a. Okay, so only one variable, which is just a. There's no variable here, so we can't say we want to factor out because we don't have a at both sides. We don't have a at both sides. So since we don't have a at both sides, we would rather go and concentrate on the coefficients. Okay, so basically the 4 is a coefficient. And I said if you want to factor or you want to work with a coefficient, the coefficient you need to concentrate on is the smallest coefficient. So the smallest coefficient here is 4. So we want to find out what to multiply 4 to give us 20, and that's 5. We are going to keep this 5 because we need it. Okay, so now we can confidently say that since a number can multiply 4 to give us 20 without a remainder, then it means we can factor out 4 from both sides. So 4 comes out. And this is the first term. The first term, if I take 4 from this place, it will be left with what? A. And then if I take 4 from this place, basically will mean that how many times will 4 multiply 20? And that's 5, so minus 5. So this one will say that we factored out. Okay? Someone is saying that, Brian, just make sure you have a good internet connection. Okay? So let's move on. Let's dive in deep. I don't want to repeat because this class is supposed to be tops 1R. We are not supposed to waste time or delay because our bundles are very expensive. Okay, so example 3. I want to take some examples from the past question. So our example 3 basically will be, so we looked at, based in the afternoon, we looked at binomials, which is just 2. This is an example of a binomial. And then we also looked at the expressions with 3 terms, okay? But now we want to look at 4 terms and all that. But before we look at those things, let's take a binomial and try and factor out. So if I have 4ab squared minus 20 b squared a, okay? B squared a. What would this basically is a simple factorization which involves what? Binomials. So first of all, we'll have to trace what we can take from both terms. Okay, so we can take a from both terms. We can take b from both terms. Okay, so there's a here, there's b here. Then the coefficient, we have 4, and then we have 20. So we want to find out what to multiply 4 to give us what? 20. If something can multiply the smallest coefficient to give you the biggest coefficient without a remainder, then you can say that yes, we can factor out the coefficients also. So quickly, it means that 4 will come out. A is just 1 here. So let me rewrite the question out so that those who are now joining or those who will join later will be able to see the question. Okay, so basically 4 can come out, and then we have just 1a here and just 1a here, so that one can also come out. Okay, now if that one can also come out, then we have b. We have b2 here, and then we have b2 also here, so that one can also come out. Remember, we are supposed to take equal from both terms. So equal from both terms will mean that if I can get 2b here and I can get 2b here, then I can bring that also out. Bringing that also out, it basically means that I would have nothing on this side, because when you look at it closely, every single thing on this term has been taken out. So whatever is left here will just be 1. So 1 minus, then we'll go ahead and find out what will multiply this coefficient to give us 20, and that thing is what? 5. Okay, so 5. When we take b2 from this side, we'll be left with no b2. When we take a from this side, we'll be left with no a, so we can close it. And if you want to go ahead and simplify this, you can simplify it, which will give you a negative. If you don't want to simplify, you can leave it that way. But hardly will you get a question like this. Okay, so let's take past questions, raw questions, complicated questions. This evening, I want us to have time and go through all this factorization. Okay, so I'm going to slow down a bit, and I want you to pay attention, and then we can flow together. Okay, so fresh page. So the very first one will be a question from 2000 BC 2007. Okay, question 18, sorry. Question 18. And this is the question. It's actually 1/4 p x squared plus 1/8 px. Okay, 1/8 px. So you want to quickly see how best you can solve this. Now when you look at this closely, there are fractions in this. No one should go and look for LCM. No LCM needed. Okay, most of you are abusing the concept of LCM. Almost everything you want to look for LCM and then work with the LCM. This is it's not even an equation for you to even think about looking for LCM. Okay, so with this one, don't be scared about the fractions. Don't be scared about the fractions. Now, if I have 1 over 4 and I have 1 over 8, okay, because I'm going to be factoring out, factorization basically means multiplication in some sense. Okay, so we are going to look for which fraction we can multiply by 1 over 4 in order to get what? 1 over 8. And that fraction will be 1 over 2. Okay, good. So it means that with this one, I can factor out one over 4. Are we okay? It means that I can factor out 1 over 4 because there's an exact fraction I can multiply by 1 over 4 to get 1 over 8. Good. So if we understand that, then we can go for it. For the variables, you can check. I can factor out p from here. I can factor out p from here. I can factor out x from here. I can factor out x from here. But with this 2x, it means that I can only take 1 from both sides. Good. So I'll bring my 1 over 4 out. And then because I can factor p out, I'll bring the p out. And then because I have x at both sides, even though this one is 2x, I can just factor out 1. And then I'll bring my bracket. When we look at this closely, this side, I'm able to factor out the 1 over 4. And then the p, I'm able to factor out the p. And I'm able to factor out just 1 of the x. So the other x will remain here. And then we'll bring our addition sign. Remember, we've already done our calculation here saying that 1 over 4 times 1 over 2 will give us 1 over 8. So it basically means that we are going to be writing 1 over 2 over here. And then when we look at it close, we've already factored out p. Okay, so p will be gone. We've already factored out x. So x will be gone. So we'll close our bracket. And that's our final answer. Okay, let's take another example. Let's take another example. So the second example will be from BCE, a very recent one. BCE 2019. BCE 2019, we're saying that we should factor out, let me see, the question was question 8. Okay, we're saying objective question 8. We're saying we should factor out kx plus what? 2xt minus 4 k minus 8t. Okay, please, I think your friends are not aware that the class is going on, or maybe they are eating or something, because as of now we have just 8 people online out of 100 students. Okay, so it's now 10. They are now joining, and then I'll see if I can go over. I'll see if I can go over. I don't know what is going on the Telegram page. Someone is saying that it has been postponed. What has been postponed? Okay, sure. The class has not been postponed. Please tell now that the class has not been postponed. Let's continue. So when we look at this closely, remember in the afternoon I told you that when you get something like this, you have to do what we call grouping items. Okay, so grouping items, we want to study and see if this arrangement is going to help us. Okay, we want to check and make sure if this arrangement is going to help us. Now, with this arrangement, any factors we want to bring out will actually work for us. Okay, any factors we want to bring out will actually work for us because I can get x here, I can get x here, I can get k, no, I can't get k here, I can get 4 here, I can get 4 here. If I decide to rearrange also, and I decide to even bring the t's together, it will still be the same thing I'll get. So we don't need to group items, not needed. Okay, so let's go ahead and then we'll bring our brackets. Bringing our brackets means that we've now categorized this expression into what? Binomials, two different binomials. So the first binomial, we're going to concentrate on the very first binomial. Let me change the color of the pen. So the very first binomial, we have kx plus 2xt. The common thing obviously here will be x and x. So we can factor out x. So x comes out. And then we have k being left behind. And then we'll plus 2t. We close that. The second one, please be cautious of this negative, because later we'll have to make sure the negative works. Okay, so the second one, you can just write negative for the meantime, and then we can factor out what? 4. Okay, because this is the smallest coefficient. This is the smallest coefficient, so a number can actually multiply 4 to give us what? 8, and that number is 2. So when we factor out 4, which is the only thing we can factor out, we can bring our bracket. And then when we factor out 4, we'll be left with what? K. Remember, we need to get the same thing as this side. So it becomes K plus 2T. Okay, because we have 2 and then T will be left behind because we only were able to factor over 4. Okay, now when we look at this closely, this works because if we are to expand with negative 4, we'll get negative 4K. And then we'll get negative what? 2KT. Okay, so we'll get negative 4k and then we'll get negative 8t. Okay, because negative and positive will give us what? Negative. Let's take note of that. So now that we have the things in the binomials and brackets the same, we can go ahead and write it as just one binomial. So it will be k plus 2t all over. So k plus 2t, not all over, sorry. And then we'll have the other set, which will be this one and this one coming together to give us x minus 4. Okay, so with this one, we've actually what? Factored out completely. Okay, let's take another question. So I'll move to, okay, so let me leave it on the screen for those who are writing. I'll just write down here. So the next question is from BC 2009. Okay, question 24. So question 24, they are saying we should factor out AX plus 3x plus a plus 3. Please don't forget to subscribe. I keep repeating this because it's very important, even if for nothing at all, for the efforts I'm putting into this video, the time, the energy, and everything. So subscribe so that anytime I post something, you would have access to it. Rebecca, please try and check your internet. If you can't see, or try and check your internet, okay? If you are sitting at one particular place, try and move around, and I think if you move around, your internet will be a bit better. I hope so far no one's screen has frozen, because that was what a lot of you are experiencing in the morning. So this is the question. They are saying that x plus 3x plus a plus 3. Okay? Now, when we look at this closely, this one we will need grouping like terms. Jose, I know, right?